powered by Riverside.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. Hot off the ending of the Minnesota Timberwolves game versus the Denver Nuggets. The Minnesota Timberwolves lose tonight 112-97. First, before I get into the game, I would love to know what goes into the decision-making of who the analysts are going to be on TNT. Like, who chose Draymond Green? Like, I know he's a personality, I know there's a lot of people like him, but Draymond Green has been through a lot of stuff in the NBA, and he might not be the best representation of somebody to have on your TNT TV show. Like, I would love to understand and be in the meetings where out of all the analysts that are out there, people in the room just sit down and say, hey, let's get Draymond Green. Like, it's just funny, but I understand this is TV and this is all about ratings, and maybe he drives the ratings. I just find it a little strange and weird. Minnesota Timberwolves lose tonight. Not surprised. I just think the Denver Nuggets are just too much for them. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong for the Minnesota Timberwolves, starting with their coach being out, freak accident, and now Mike Conley is out with the sore Achilles. Karl Anthony Towns, bang knees with Contavious Caldwell-Pope. So he was hobbling tonight. And Rudy Gobert, I feel bad for the man because Jokic is just going to work. And when Reggie Miller said that Jokic is taking it personal, he is absolutely taking it personal. 40 points tonight, 13 assists, 7 rebounds against the Defensive Player of the Year. And, like I always say, I'm not expecting Rudy Gobert to shut down Jokic. I don't think anybody in the league can do that. But if you're wearing the badge of being the Defensive Player of the Year and you put on a performance like Rudy Gobert put on tonight, that's just embarrassing. And it is just evident that the Minnesota Timberwolves just don't have enough. See, what I was complaining about after the 2 home games in Minneapolis is exactly what I expected of the Timberwolves from what you saw tonight from the Denver Nuggets. See, the Denver Nuggets, they have that championship DNA. They understand that when you have a chance to close somebody out and the environment is in your favor, you've got to go get them. And that's exactly what the Denver Nuggets did tonight. There was no way they were going to go back to Minneapolis down 3-2. There was just no way. They had made up their minds that we're at home in front of our fans, and there's no way the Timberwolves are going to come out with a victory tonight. There was a certain mindset. There was a sense of urgency. Their star players stepped up. Their coaching staff had a solid game plan. The others, or their role players, came to play tonight. There was just a mentality that no matter what the Timberwolves did or what the Timberwolves will throw at us, we were going to respond. And that's what the Denver Nuggets did. And that is championship DNA. I made a podcast yesterday about Thursday. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to possibly be vacationing. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, let's not get it twisted. They've had a fantastic year. Arguably, for the majority of the year, they were the best team in the NBA, flirting with the number 1 seed, had an opportunity to get the number 1 seed, kind of fell short at the end of the season, but they still got the number 3 seed. But all in all, they had a fantastic year. This year was Ant's coming out party. He's had a fantastic playoffs. Didn't play exceptionally well tonight, but for the most part, he's had a fantastic playoff, and so they've had a good year. But I think this thing is coming to an end because don't get fooled into thinking that Thursday night, with their backs up against the wall, they're going to respond. As I told you before, as a basketball coach, the one thing about studying this game so long and coaching this game so long, there are little nuances that you can see that are so important that when your team doesn't put those things on the table, they just can't win. And if they didn't come to be a good team in game 3 and game 4, when they had a chance to put their foot on Denver's throat, when they understood the gravity of those games where they were playing desperate basketball, especially game 4 after they got shelled in game 3, if they couldn't respond then, I don't understand what's going to be different Thursday night. To me, the only way they win that game is if Denver sleeps on them. The only way they win that game is if Denver has a horrific game. The only way they win that game is if Denver hands it to them or gives it to them. So basically what I'm saying is I don't think the Minnesota Timberwolves can take it. If they're successful and if they win, it's going to be by Denver's hand. It's not going to be by the Minnesota Timberwolves' hand. And that's not dogging them. That's not throwing them under the bus. But we've seen enough evidence now. Who's going to stop Jokic? What's the game plan for Thursday to slow him down? See, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves, they should play zone the whole game because they can't guard him man-to-man. So now when he goes into his bag of post moves, you've got a man on either side that can at least fill in some of those gaps. So when he makes those moves, the lane is just a little bit more congested, and we're in better rebounding position. Now, we're going to open up the perimeter a little bit by playing zone. But right now, Jokic is such a problem scoring and facilitating. You got to do something to try to slow him down. And personnel-wise, one-on-one, the Minnesota Timberwolves just don't have an answer. And it doesn't take a coach that's making a couple of $1 million a year smart enough to see that. If I took over the Timberwolves tomorrow, we would play zone the whole game. And we are going to congest that lane so much that Jokic just has issues there. But at least we will be in better defensive position and we would be in better rebounding position. Because right now what you're doing is not working. Anthony Edwards tonight didn't have his best game. And so this is, as a 22-year-old kid, he's going to have his ebb and flows. He's going to have his ups and downs. And this is why I was quick to say, enjoy his greatness because the kid is great. Stop with the Michael Jordan comparisons. Stop with the Michael Jordan comparisons. In my book, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And the reason why he is the GOAT is he would never have a game where he didn't show up. I challenge anyone to find a game of importance in the playoffs where MJ didn't show up. There isn't any. That's why he is the GOAT. You can't say the same about LeBron. You can't say the same about KD. I can go on and on and on and on and on. When it comes to showing up every game and putting on performances and getting your team over the hump, Michael Jordan is the guy. End of conversation. Thursday night, we're looking at Game 6. And so the Timberwolves are going to have to try to find some answers, and I hope they do. Caitlin Clark made her debut tonight. Didn't play exceptionally well either. Still dropped 20 points. But the Connecticut Sun played physical basketball. They were ready for her tonight. And so I thought Caitlin Clark had a little bit of a hard time adjusting to the speed and the physicalness of the game, but that will come. Like I said, she's a dog. She will acclimate to the WNBA, and I don't think it's going to take long at all. What was really intriguing about the game tonight is every time she scored, the building erupted. They were playing in Connecticut, and it sounded like a home game for the Indiana Fever, which was absolutely amazing. I had never seen anything like that. But we're going to continue to follow Caitlin Clark, and we'll cover her a little bit more. Just wanted to recap the Minnesota Timberwolves game. Unfortunately, the Minnesota Timberwolves came up short tonight. They had no answer for the Denver Nuggets. They made little spurts and little runs, but inconsistent scoring and a lack of defense, and the Denver Nuggets pretty much controlled 95% of the game. They had no answer for Jokic, and their role players came to play tonight. So we have to hope and pray that Chris Finch and his crew find some answers and find a way to slow down Jokic, because right now it's not looking very good. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please like and subscribe. We're over 1,000 subscribers. Absolutely fantastic. This thing is growing. Thank you. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Great things to come. Have a good night.
Powered by Riverside.